All right, welcome everybody. I'm at Chris. This is the last lesson. This is episode 56 as I cheat on my cheat notes. And okay, yeah, this is a process of training. This is the process of training, and sometimes people forget exactly. It's confusing because you're like, what should I do? How should I train? What's the process? And over again. And there's no set rule as far as you got to do it a particular way. It's just like maybe people have different opinions, and this worked for me. Maybe some other way worked for you. Whatever the case may be, but in general, this is usually what I'm looking at when you have that. First, like in everything else that we relate in Wing Chun, we have a goal, we have a target, right? If I want to punch, here's my target, I punch to the target. Even if I don't do it right, I still need the target first because I need to know where to go from A to B, okay? So you start with that overall thing, and I'm checking my notes, sorry. You have your goal, okay? So the goal maybe first is, I want to get and hit this target. Okay, so you have a goal to hit this target, and right now you're just punching because you don't have any goal. You don't know what you're doing. So the goal requires a skill, right? So that skill requires, you have to learn what to do to get to the goal. So if the motivation overall is good enough, you'll figure out, right? That's your process. From trial and error, you'll be like, okay, what skill do I need to get to this goal? Okay, so if I need to learn how to punch, right? Okay, well, one hand does this, the other hand does this. I gotta combine this, so I have a little idea how to get to that goal, and that's the skill area that you got to develop. You can go to that area, may not be correctly, but first you have to have a goal, then you have to get the skill, right? Then during this process is During this process is the no bitch stage, right? A lot of times we have a goal, we have the skill, right? Or we're working on the skill, and then you either bitch or do. Bitch or do basically is like, God damn it, this is where you have that sense of entitlement. Why can't I do this punch correctly? I'm practicing it. It's like when we watch someone like Steph Curry, right? You see him practice and warm up, and this guy is like shooting threes, not from like your normal 3-point range. We're talking like half court bombs, not just regular threes, super arc and stuff like that. It's like, wow, he made it really look easy. If you ask that guy, how many hours did you do to practice to get that level? And he gives you the number, and it would be like a number in the sense of like, well, a billionaire in terms of money, but compare that to time spent. Then you ask yourself, is like, why do I think if I work 0.01% of what Steph does to learn this skill, I should have it right away? Okay, so you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful when you train. That a lot of times you're like, this seems simple. Yeah, the idea and concept's easy, but the body doesn't know. You don't have the control, and and there's time invested, right? They make stuff. Great athletes make stuff look easy. Because, for example, if they spent 50,000 hours and you spent like, I spent 1,000 hours practicing it, you can't honestly think that's fair, that your skill should be able to even come close to that individual skill who practices on a regular basis. So during the skill phase, there's bitch or do. So if you find yourself bitching, try to shut your ass and make sure you do more do, right? Keep working on the do. If you find yourself talking, opening up and yapping and whining, you have not that sense of entitlement. You got to slap the Will Smith out of you, right? Because you haven't deserved it. You don't have it yet. And don't be like, well, that guy only took 1,000 hours. He can do it. That guy has his own life. That girl has his own life. You have yours, right? Everything's fair and balanced, right? It may take that guy 1,000 hours to do. It may take you 5,000 hours to do. There's be a balance because certain things he does will require more time and less time for you. So don't concern yourself with what other people are doing, okay? Bitch or do process during your training is do. Shut up and do, okay? So while you're doing you're in the skill phase, then you have the check, right? So bitch and do, good. Let's say you just end up doing it, right? Great, that's good control of your ego. You gotta take the ego even further and then do the Michael Jackson man in the mirror. Because it's one thing to do, right? Over and over again. But but you gotta do it great. You gotta do it correct. And the truth is, this is 100% the truth. People will say, I want the truth, I want the truth. Bullshit. You don't want the truth. The vast majority of people who don't actually enjoy life is because they're afraid of the truth. They don't want to deal with the truth. They rather live through other people and other means. The reality is you gotta be your own whiplash. The whiplash means you look at yourself, you grade yourself, and you say, you're right, that's not that good. What can I do? Shut up, do more, practice. Okay, and then bitch at yourself again and look exactly. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe you have to ask. Maybe you have to go to someone and say, can you look at this? Does it look right? And you got to suck in the ego and take that response to make yourself better overall. Okay, and then after what is the goal, skill, and then finally, guess what? You have the goal, you have the skill, you work on the bitch and do during the process. You have that. Okay, let me self-grading, whiplash moment, and then what? Repeat again. And it's not to the goal. The goal is basically you go to the goal to make sure you know what your target is, and then you repeat the process over and over again, right? It's like Monopoly. The way I've always represented Wing Chun, it's like the Monopoly game, right? You go through, complete the whole board cycle, and just before you're gonna collect go, they send you back all the way to the very beginning. And Wing Chun is gonna test you. Okay, 10 times back. Are you gonna quit yet? Fuck, 10 times I still can't collect go? Return back. 100 times. Are you gonna quit yet? Yeah, I think I'm gonna quit. This is hard. Fine, there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you don't have the motivation or you don't understand exactly what it is that you really want, right? Like, the passion may not be there, but simply, that's how Wing Chun training, Wing Chun goes. It's gonna test you 100 times, 1,000 times. You feel like shit, you're trying hard, and it'll keep bringing you back. And then eventually, when you don't care so much about the end result and you just keep repeating this process, the next thing you know is like, wait a second, you're shooting the threes like Steph Curry can, and you're like, oh my God, I can do the punch. Why am I doing this right? It just happens. You can't goal set the stuff like, okay, 2 months from now, I'm gonna get the punch down. It doesn't work that way. Maybe weight-wise and other stuff you can do like that. Wing Chun skill does not work that way. You can't. You can have a target and say, I want to improve a certain amount, but you can't say specifically, I'll get this at that particular time. So just remember this training process, goal, right? You need the skill. The skill involves bitching or doing, okay? If you're bitching, shut the hell up, get to work, okay? Once you're done doing the stuff, whiplash time. You gotta look in the mirror, say, is it good, is it bad? Fine, be truthful with yourself. And then from here, repeat, check your goal again, and the whole process goes over and over again. That is in anything that you do that you wanna be good at, okay? So hopefully that helps you in your training. And seriously, don't be a bitch, God damn it.